This was the scene yesterday morning in Rochester, New York, when a 20 something year old young man was executed while sitting in his car close to a daycare center where some children are believed to have seen this shooting and execution. Senseless violence that continues in Rochester, New York. And this is a little bit of a different video. It's about Rochester, New York Police Captain Frank Umbrino right here. First of all, I've known Captain Umbrino close to 30 years. He's a veteran of the Rochester, New York Police Department. And while we probably don't agree on some things, especially when it comes to police accountability, I can't help but to see that this man is affected by every single homicide that he covers. And he's basically at every murder scene. And this was him yesterday morning. And of course, because the violence is out of control in Rochester, New York, this is basically in the early hours of last night into this morning. So less than 24 hours later, we can say this was Rochester, New York's 19th homicide of the year, where 3 people were shot, 1 killed. And this is Rochester, New York Police Captain Frank Umbrino again. Now keep in mind, again, here he is less than 24 hours at another homicide scene. And I'm going to play the news video in a minute so you can see and hear him. But here you're watching him giving a little press conference at the murder scene. And this man is absolutely exhausted, emotionally drained. And this has to take a toll on him. Let's roll the video.
We are following breaking news on this Friday morning. One man is dead after a shooting overnight on Monroe Avenue and Woodlawn Street in Rochester.
Police say 2 others have been shot but are expected to survive. Erica Cost is following this tragic incident for us and joins us live with the very latest. Good morning, Erica.
Good morning, Leah. Well, heavy scene, emotional few days as police say this is the 18th homicide into 2021. They got the call of report of shots fired around 1 a.m. this morning in the area you mentioned, Woodlawn and Monroe Ave. On the scene, as you mentioned, 3 people were shot, 1 man pronounced dead on scene. No suspects are in custody at this time, and police aren't sure if it was targeted attack or not. Details are very limited as to what led up to the shots being fired, but we can confirm there was some sort of argument or altercation happening on that corner. We can't confirm if those shots were involved in, if those shot at were involved in the argument or if the shooter was involved. We're told there could have been 2 shooters here. Even Captain Frank Umbrino with Rochester Police Major Crimes Unit addressed media a few hours ago. He said, quote, quite a few bit of rounds were fired, well over a dozen, resulting in quite a bit of evidence that needs to be collected. He also spoke about the recent crime uptick, as I mentioned. He says he's tired, frustrated, and it gets mentally exhausting having to tell family their loved ones have died.
We're up to, I think, 18 this year. So, we obviously have a limited number of resources. There's a limited number of hours in a day. We can't create more hours in a day, so we can only do what we can do. We have a team of professionals who, put 110% into every case. But again, your most valuable asset is hours in the day, and we can't create more of those.
Now, police say the 2 others that were shot, a man and a woman in their 30s, they are expected to survive. And at this time, they're holding off on identifying the man who lost his life to take time to notify his family and loved ones. In Monroe Ave, Erica Cost, News 8.
So there you saw Rochester, New York Police Captain Frank Umbrino speaking to the news at the scene of Rochester, New York's latest homicide. And you can just look at him and listen, and you can see that he is absolutely exhausted. I don't care what anyone says. Seeing homicide after homicide, not just homicide, but senseless violence involving young persons of color, right? Minorities, just killing each other over senseless, no respect, no value for human life. And it has to take a toll, not only on Captain Umbrino, but it has to take a toll on basically every police officer that sees this over and over and over again. There you have it. I mean, within a 24-hour period, Captain Umbrino, is at another homicide scene, having just, been at one uh, where that 20-something-year-old young man was executed near a daycare center. So it just, like he said, you heard him. It has to be emotionally, mentally draining to see this stuff, and of course, to see that there's no outrage, um, no outrage, no protests, no marches by groups like Black Lives Matter, and just by community leaders. Where was the mayor? You didn't see her there. Where are the so-called community leaders? And that's why I say it's just the hypocrisy that I'll continue to call out on groups and so-called movements and so-called activists like Black Lives Matter. It's just really, really disgusting. One more thing I'll say is one has to wonder what help is available to not only Rochester, New York Police Captain Frank Umbrino, but to police officers in general. I mean, if you think about it, they see these images, these scenes, these senseless acts of violence, including homicides. Obviously, they see this on a daily basis, repetitively, over and over again, and sometimes several times in a day. Like in this case, again, Rochester, New York Police Captain Frank Umbrino, at another homicide scene less than 24 hours from the time he left the previous one. So it just has to affect them mentally. It has to take a toll. And I wonder what, help exactly is available to them, such as counseling, therapy, what resources are available to police officers who see this on a daily basis. Thank you for watching Davey VTV.